Enies Lobby, when One Piece reached the pinnacle of shounen. 25 years since the birth of One Piece. There came a moment that made the entire manga world go still, the moment the story stepped into Enies Lobby, and from within the blazing flames that scorched the gate of justice. A new peak in shounen storytelling was born. The fire raged, the downpour of Aqua Laguna drenched everything. Yet it could not extinguish the desperate cry of Nico Robin, a scream buried for a lifetime, finally breaking free in tragedy. At the same time, the Going Merry, battered and broken, mustered its final breath to save its friends one last time from a sea of fire. Luffy awakened Gear Second. Zoro swallowed humiliation. The Straw Hats began tearing through 2 decades of traditional shounen with the brilliance of hard-earned growth. To this day, Enies Lobby remains an unshakable peak in One Piece's legacy. From joy to despair, the path that unleashed the tragedy. The journey toward Enies Lobby began deceptively light. From the laughs in Long Ring Long Land, where the Straw Hats defeated Foxy in a comedic duel, to the chilling shock of encountering Admiral Akiji, a force beyond their imagination. That encounter shattered any illusions. The world government was an entity far out of their reach. Upon arriving at Water 7, their only goal was to repair the Merry. But what awaited them was heartbreak. The ship couldn't be saved. And then came the collapse. Usopp, unable to accept parting with the ship, challenged Luffy in a tearful, agonizing duel. Robin, the quiet protector, walked away without explanation, a betrayal that left a hole no one could fill. For the first time in this story about youth and dreams, the characters abandoned each other. The pain was suffocating, every panel tightened like a noose around the reader's throat. The weight of the world, where power clashes with trust. But it wasn't just emotional. The plot deepened. In Frankie's hands was the blueprint of Pluton, an ancient weapon that could destroy nations. Then came CP9, the world government's secret assassination unit. They weren't just powerful, they had legitimacy. Justification. Justice. Rob Lucci demolished both Luffy and Zoro. Frankie and Robin were captured and transported to Enies Lobby, the supreme fortress of the world government. At this point, everything felt hopeless. Akiji, CP9, and beyond them, the government itself, were forces no one could imagine defeating. But Luffy, after learning the truth of Robin's betrayal, that she only wanted to protect them, made a decision that sent chills down every spine. We're going to rescue Robin. And we're declaring war on the world government. The tempest rises, Straw Hats versus the world. Enies Lobby, the island that never sleeps. The court gate never closes. The gate of justice looms like a monument to power. Below lies a raging waterfall, a bottomless chasm. This is where the world government resides in its strongest form. But the Straw Hats didn't falter. They didn't have ancient weapons. They didn't carry global ideals. What they carried was belief, unity, and an unbreakable will. Luffy led the charge. In his battle against Blueno, he awakened a new form, Gear Second, steam rising from his body, speed beyond logic, strength fueled by determination. With Jet Bazooka, he crushed Blueno and proved. This wasn't the same Luffy anymore. This was a captain who had matured, who would fight, fall, and rise again for his crew. An unforgettable cry, I want to live. And then came the moment. The Straw Hats stood tall before the Tower of Justice, looked up at the sky, and in unison, shouted Robin's name. And she, a woman haunted by a lifetime of betrayal and pain, finally broke. I want to live. A cry that echoed through generations of readers. A moment that shattered every emotional wall she'd ever built. From that moment on, the fire within the crew surged. They tore through every barrier, faced off against the elite of CP9, and in the end, destroyed the very gate that had stood unbreached for 800 years. They did not just save a friend. They destroyed a symbol of oppression. And they carved their names into legend. The arc that changed everything. Enies Lobby isn't the best arc just because of the battles, though they were spectacular. It's the arc where Shounen grew up. Where friendship wasn't just a word, but a choice made in fire and blood. Where pain was acknowledged, where betrayal was forgiven, where strength was earned not through power-ups, but through heartbreak. This is where One Piece reached its emotional and thematic summit. And even now, years later, we still remember it not just with awe, but with tears.